Welcome to the Mainly Golf Show. I am Twig. I'm not on a golf course. I'm in sunny Gibraltar. Hep is wearing mainly golf attire, and Marv is wearing his pajamas. But the latter did strike gold with a 10-point win. It's gone to the stewards room. You are supposed to put up to a minimum of two golf selections. So, Hep, I think we class that as just a 9-point win for settlement purposes. So it's just, you do like split six normally.
Yeah. Rule four or whatever it is.
Yeah, so we do it as a plus 27-point win for Marv, who's still ahead of the tipping stakes. Marv, you kind of said you'd be disappointed if Scheffler kind of didn't go out and win.
Mm.
Um, it was pretty much like more riding for O'Brien, right? On a threes on favourites, get to the front and just never see another rival.
Yeah, the crazy par five statistic 14 under for 12 par fives. That's it. I think number one, number tied first in fairways and greens. It was just a case of is he going to hole a reasonable amount of putts? I don't think he was anything special on the greens, but he was just giving himself so many chances. And as you say, it hit the front early, did the damage Thursday, Friday, and coasted a little bit on the
I
weekend.
think he led the field. I think in 14 different categories for the week. Whether it be strokes gained, fairways made, greens and regulation. Like
Yeah, I saw
it is
that.
insane. Maybe Hep's right. Maybe Scotty is better than Tiger. Hep.
Yes. Um, but no, but like it's an easy course. It was a weak field, but to win by 8 shots, like he got to get credit for that. Like if he wins by one or two, people might say, okay, he won, but he doesn't get any real credit because of who he beat and where it was. But to win by 8 and to get tie the PGA best 4 rounds ever, like so much credit. And the PGA Championship is looking amazing at the moment with Rory, Bryson, and Scheffler now. I mean, hopefully in form for the foreseeable month. Like what a couple of majors we've got coming up.
I mean, your point was that Tiger was beating the fucking handicappers, like, Ernie Els and Nick Price and
Jay, like I
Greg
watched
Norman.
something about Ernie Els at the weekend. You forget how good that guy was.
He was very good, yeah.
Yeah,
Same with
two, three, and
Montu
four were good, but who the
beating
fuck
Eric
finished
Van Rooyen and
50th
Trey
place?
Mullinox by 8
Like,
shots. Fucking hell, you know what I mean? The Scottish best player we've ever seen. Eric Van Rooyen loves to splash more than my 3-year-old son. Like, I'm sorry, Ed, like, but he
no,
did well, but how
no,
soft was that
what?
course? Like, so many players were shooting low 60s. It's not exactly. He just, Scotty's more consistent. I suppose that's what makes him more number one.
So makes him sky.
How close did we get in the forecast bets?
It looked good after round one with Jaeger, I think, in fourth and Hughes in like 11th, but then they both fell away in the second round very, very quickly. So
Did were they done over with the weather?
oh, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to use that as an excuse. They
I've got no idea.
I
He's
think
mud
Jaeger
punted.
might have been, but yeah, just
I'm sure I saw them like as Eddie said after round one, and then I thought, where the hell have they gone? Like partway through round two, and so it did make me wonder if they'd just been a bit unfortunate with.
yeah. Jaeger was in the PM for round two. I don't know where Hughes was, but it's very generous to have that as the excuse. I think.
Yeah, rain affected her play in Texas due to lightning strike. You mentioned Bryson there, shaping up for the PGA. He won the Live Golf in Korea. Marv, I know you're a big fan of Bryson. Did these tournaments actually mean anything if he's winning like in literally 3 rounds, or does it carry any importance heading to a major, or is it just
The only weight I would give it is that he's had a couple of chances so far this season on the Live Tour. He's just not got the job done, but he did get the job done this weekend. So I'm sure from his own personal satisfaction, the rounds where he led going into the final round before, there was a few clear, and then he just like chunking chips. He just looked like he couldn't be bothered. But so the fact that he's actually got a win under his belt, first win since the last major, because I think,
That was his fourth or fifth like final pairing in a row.
yeah, I think that
So he's been there, and yeah, like last
incredible
yeah,
record though?
even though his second place was Charles Howell the third. So we say who did Scotty beat? Then who's Bryson beat? But
To be fair to Bryson, I think somehow he is, regardless really of his live results, he is still maintaining form for the majors. So
How do you think he's doing that when everyone else, like Neiman came in with a lot of promise because he's won twice on Live Tour, he struggled at Augusta. Ram just hasn't been the same force, has he, since joining there? Is Bryson just a
I
different
don't know.
different
They
breed?
say that you can practice all you want, but tournament reps. Tag would always say tournament reps is what he needed. You can practice all you want, but it's an interesting, wasn't it? Because as you say, other live golfers have not. Nobody's been anywhere near consistent, really.
Even Brooks, right, who used to be pedigree for majors, he really struggled in
I,
the
I,
final
I,
round of the Masters. Was that
I,
2022 against Rambo?
yeah, I probably just wonder if Bryson's generally just he's in that sort of love of the game mode.
Yeah.
He's just probably just loving life, and so there's not a going out and grinding away on a golf course. So
Probably makes more money on YouTube and endorsements than he does actual playing golf these days.
it's and the way he comes across is, yeah, I just think he's a different way of. Nobody has as you said, nobody has a bad word to say about him. Everyone's thinks he's fucking live cunt. Fuck off, Bryson. Yeah, come back, Bryson.
Why is that? Do you think he'll be on the PGA Tour next season?
Is his deal up at the end of this season on
Apparently,
Live?
they all signed 3-year deals for 23, 4, 5.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I want to say maybe it suits Bryson not playing maybe as regularly as Bryson don't want to be going around playing the CJ Cup next year, does he? Or or the fucking
Fucking
all those
Albertown
other
the week after the Masters.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely less is more with Bryson. If you see him week in, week out, you probably find his shtick a bit annoying. But you see him 4 times a year. You see him a bit on YouTube or whatever, making some headlines.
People say the same about me, Hep, you know what I mean? Tell me about every week. Fucking hell, Twig, right? And I go.
You can take him like 4 times a week. It's 4 times a year. Any more than that. But you mentioned Neiman as well. Like, he's never got better than a T15 in a major. Like,
That's insane.
Yeah,
He's one of your boys, wasn't he, when he burst on the scene?
Yeah, he's the one live player that's got the invite for the PGA because they invite one live, apart from like champions or whatever else qualifies you in there. But yeah, like he's so set up to perform at every single major, and like you say, he's already won twice, I think, on live this year. But yeah, never done better than a T15.
Do we know why he's got the invite? Has it been?
It's his performances in live.
Yeah, I think it
just generally
it's like an olive branch.
He got the 2 wins early on, and yeah, he was the person they invited.
I suppose in theory, probably most of the important live golfers will be at the PGA anyway, won't they? Really,
Mickelson's a former winner. Ram's a former winner. Brooks is a former winner. I presume Hatton would be is Hatton there?
Yeah, I think pretty sure Hatton.
Yeah, as you said, they do enough in other tournaments, won't they, and things like that. Yeah.
Points. But if you take Hatton and Neiman out, apart from that 5, do Liv really have anyone else in terms of young up? It's like a Westwood or a Garcia or a fucking Charles Schwartz or an Oosthuizen. But in terms of young up and coming talent that they can use as their kind of flag bearers, you wouldn't say there's anyone else really. I thought they just signed Tom McKibben, the 21, 22-year-old Northern Irish guy. It's very weird that he'd go given how close he's with Rory.
Is this one that Rory really trashed him for going?
He didn't trash him. He said, I'd be disappointed in him. You know what I mean? He's got to make his own path. And he said that he'll make his own mistakes. But he should be grinding on the DP World Tour and playing big events on the PGA Tour when he's invited. But going and playing just 8 tournaments a season, 10 tournaments a season, 3 rounds. It's not what he wants. It's not what is best for his game right now. But he's 22 years old and offered him a wedge of cash, so fucking good luck to him.
So you've got Thomas Peters is It's
He
not
just
much
played in
of
the
a.
Ryder Cup in 2012, and
Yeah.
it's really disappointing since 2012, 2016.
See, as you say, look, I'm just looking down the list now. That you're right, Twig. The young, there's really nobody coming
There's
through.
nothing.
Yeah.
Even someone like Lucas Herbert, also won a winner on PGA Tour. I think he's like mid late 30s now. Mark Leishman in his 40s.
I suppose Cam Smith. How old would you say he is?
Cam Smith, yeah, I think he's about 30.
But
But
he was made
He's had a
beforehand,
whole
though,
couple
right?
of years.
Nobody young has gone and then like shot, and you're like, oh, this is fantastic.
And if you're a young, hungry player, you'd imagine it's probably easier to win on the lift tour. Like 54 golfers every week.
Yeah.
It's they grinding. I mean, like Bryson seems to have improved as a golfer inside 3 years, despite playing less golf. But he's obviously probably playing more golf, just in different scenarios, right? Whether it's for his own YouTube channel or playing charity stuff or playing with. Did he do something? Did Bryson team up with? Was it Bryson Brooks against Scheffler and Rory? Was it the
it
Crypto.com
was
thing?
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least Bryson's done different things where he's almost been in the spotlight. I think the lads who aren't used to a lot of people watching live golf or when the spotlight comes on them, they seem to have crumbled. Subsequently, Bryson is the exception to kind of
Yeah.
every live golf rule.
I think the biggest crumble from like a younger guy must be Abraham Ancer. Like he was
God, to the Mexican lad, yeah.
third, fourth tier PGA. Like maybe he was just model and sort of never actually won, but he's just absolutely crumbled into nothing.
What's he done? Has he done anything since going to live?
Not that I know of. Like I can't even
No,
remember. I can't remember him winning an event that he could have snuck one. But
The one player I've just spotted, Matthew Wolf. Was he?
yeah, he's another one.
He had the wiggle swing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Harold Varner, he was pretty decent. He's
Harold Varner. So
just
and
retired early.
Harold Varner he won the first live golf in Saudi. If you look at Answer, to be fair, Hep, he's a T2 in Adelaide. He was T12 in Hong Kong, T10 Singapore. So he's probably making a lot of money. Like,
Oh
so
yeah. He's made more money than he would have if he'd stayed on the PGA. But
last year he won
he was a
live golf
pretty
in
young
Hong
player
Kong,
that
20 million,
had a decent future in him. But,
and he had 4 more top tens. So I mean, he's a decent future. He's probably made up 40 million playing on live golf the last 2 years.
like I said,
And his salary.
he definitely made more money on live than staying on. Like, yeah, because he's made 40 million. Like, I think I heard on another podcast a complaint that Corey Connors has made, I think 26 million over the last 3 years or something like that. Like,
Not bad.
it's very not bad at all. But it's very hard to make 40 million on the PGA Tour over a 3-year live contract, and these guys get that guaranteed with potential, winning bonuses and team bonuses and all of that lot. Like, yeah, he's obviously making more money, but he's gone from a potential somebody in golf to an absolute nobody.
You see,
He's only
my
30. He's only
Go on, Twig.
34. He's still got time.
Well, you see, my thought is some of these that have gone to live. Do you think they thought, I'm just going to make a chunk of money. If I'm retired in 5 years, I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
I think so.
fair
If you
enough.
can make it, because they all got contracts to come across, didn't they, originally? Like your salary, and then if you win, like what a bonus!
like some
20
of these
million for a winner.
players, I can't imagine some of these players whether there's the merger, whether there's whatever. Some
Charles
of these
Howell
players, it's
III.
not going to. I've made enough. I'm not going to. I can't be bothered playing golf anymore.
If that's their decision, take the guaranteed money for 3 years and then retire. Like,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go.
It
Like,
wouldn't
we fully-
surprise me.
Fully understand that.
They ain't going to come back grinding away. I would
Do you
have
think
thought.
Westwood's going to be playing on the fucking DP World Tour?
Yeah.
Or
That's
like
why
Poulter
Might-
after this?
they might go seniors.
Go into Asia, like
But
I just
Do you
don't
reckon?
see. I don't see Graham McDowell playing. If you look at the DP World Tour schedule, because he won't be good enough now. He won't have enough points to get on the PGA Tour.
No.
But that DP World Tour schedule is brutal. Like in terms of Saudi, Oman, Qatar, and Turkey, and then they have the Europe swing. They got Holland, Germany, Denmark, Sweden. Like, if you're a 45-year-old guy who's got 20, 30 million in the bank, wife at home, three
Right.
kids, are you really like fucking schlubbing it round all these gaff European venues to make like at best $1 million? Like, you can't be asked. Fuck that.
Enjoy your fucking life. You've got enough money. Like,
Exactly.
I
And fair
holiday
play.
for the rest of your life. Like,
The only thing I do wonder if they might, once they hit 50, they might do maybe a bit of a Harrington, see if they can win a major or two on the Champions Tour. Or they might not, but
But I think you're right. Darren Clark went and won one, didn't he? Look at someone like a Miguel or look at Bernard Langer. Jesus Christ, he's chopped it off.
go and play that for a couple of years at least, just if they're not quite.
And just you retire Rome. She's fucking nagging me every week, and go do the kids for at school. Fuck it, I'm off on Champions Tour. I'll see you in a few months, love.
I'll take the check.
Yeah, that's why we don't work from home. Speaking of people who have got enough money, Rory McIlroy is the 4-1 market leader of this week's Truist Championship, formerly the Wells Fargo.
You.
PGA Tour's doing really well, losing sponsors left, right, and centre. Marv, would you say he'd been disappointed with the performance from him and his compatriot in the Zurich Classic of New Orleans?
He probably didn't give a shit. I think it's a bit like last week with one of them. While Scotty run away with the field, the Zurich is probably a low scoring event that there's some of the 4-ball rounds, people are shooting 61, 62s, even lower.
Yeah.
So yeah. I did wonder if they were possibly a decent price in that. I don't think they weren't. They didn't finish top 10, did they, in the end? But I whether Rory played well and Shane didn't, I don't know. But
There was a couple of Rory classic mistakes that I saw that I tuned in where
Oh, those little wedge shots.
just leaves it in the one miss you can't make. Long left or long right or whatever it
That
happens.
17th hole hurt them so much during those 4 rounds.
Speaking of Rory McIlroy, I was listening to a podcast that Steve Williams did in the last month or two, and the guy asked. It's the second podcast he's done with this presenter a host in New Zealand, something like that. He asked him if there was one player or one person you wanted to caddy for, who would it be? To go back. And Steve Williams. Can you guess who Steve Williams said?
McIlroy.
He did. He said McIlroy.
He set it up well.
Now, that just made me wonder, is he thinking what everyone else is thinking? Give McIlroy a world-class caddy. Anyway, we'll leave that there.
He came out defending JP. JP's great caddy. Don't be having a go at him. Like, what was it? Life. They used to play together in Hollywood. I mean, if McIlroy did have, say, Steve Williams in the bag or something like, you score how well Scotty's done since adding Bones. Do you think he's winning more majors?
I certainly think between 2014 and now he might have won one or more. I think what Steve Williams did say is the game's moved on. Steve Williams is a very old style caddy. He's in his 60s now. He was very much a feel. So instead of whatever the elevation is to the exact feet and working out and proper crunching the numbers for the club, he just know his player and there'd be a feel for it. So I think he's very much the old style caddy compared to the new caddies have got probably every bit of technology that's allowable. So the game's moved on. The game's moved on, I suppose, in that.
When Billy Foster said he'd be coaching me at the Seve, and he was like, said, "What are you doing here?" Like, yeah, I can do a little bit of a cut, get it running up the hill. The fuck you doing, man? Just lay up with there. I feel the shot. And he's like trying to coach. Said it was the same thing. Like, he just listen. You know, in his head, like, I'm going to do this. I'm better than you. You just fucking carry the clubs. Do your job, English prick. And invariably, he was right. But what's the point? He basically said, like, what's the point of me being here? You here to carry the clubs, okay? Yeah, I mean, like, you don't
Do you
need it, do you?
get 10% for just carrying the bag?
Be too tired.
Imagine that. I mean, to be fair, like a few of like Tiger's later caddies, you think they've had 10% of doing fuck all, aren't they? Let's be honest.
What are they going to
Just,
tell
just
you?
smile and wear a nice Nike hat. He's that'd be another 1.2 million. Put the kids through college. But yeah, if you listen to Rory last week, he basically said like just on cloud nine. Even if he missed a cut this week, yeah, he gives a shit. Yeah, one of the masters. Been trying 30, 40, 30 odd years
Hasn't
for
he been
this.
going around doing every TV
Yeah.
show possible in America?
I think it has sent his brand, if you like, to a different level. I wouldn't say he's quite Tiger, but in golf, I think he's the most recognizable, the most marketable, the most, I don't know whether it's the most popular, but he's above Scheffler, he's above Xander, he's at Bryson's the only one that could probably
He
compete with him
Yeah, he probably is. He's probably. I agree. He probably is well number one in terms of appeal and all that stuff. And
from a
because
commercial aspect. Yeah,
yeah, because people who loved him probably love him even more. People who hate him probably hate him even more. People
I
still want to go to
still,
tune in.
yeah, I've never been like a big McIlroy fan. I still watch that shot at say it's 16 when he made the three,
Oh, the
or
par
the
five.
shot.
Was it the par five? No.
No, the 15th to par five. The second he made a birdie at 16, didn't he? Um, and then the shot, obviously the second shot, this first playoff form, and you think under the amount of pressure he's under, I know he's a very good player, but like I weirdly have watched it back and got goosebumps, and then you see his reaction after making the putt at 18, like the way again I compare it when we got our mortgage approved. Fucking hell, wait off these, you know what I mean? Wait off these shows. It's like,
What time?
oh my God, if we miss here, we're not going to get a
Like just
chance for a
like
year.
the press or in the bedroom.
But you know,
But yeah,
there's so many memes going around of so many women saying, you know, my husband didn't even cry at our fucking
oh, I
wedding,
saw that. That's so
and he's
good.
there crying because Rory's made the slam.
The host is going, yeah, but it was a really important time. He told me all this, but I don't give a shit.
Didn't even cry at a wedding, and he's there on he's there on his knees in front of the TV crying. What the fuck's he doing? Doghouse.
I did see a good
Um,
tweet. It was like it would be the most Rory thing if Spieth wins the PGA and just gazumped his Grand
upstage,
Slam, just like within a month.
and to be fair, Jordan's trending up. You wouldn't be surprised. Very Spieth fans come out of the wilderness as well for about best part of 8 years. So
That
Marvel,
would be
you
very bad.
fancy you fancied Scheffler, you fancied the market leader this week. Last week, would Rory be tempted in 92? You fancied Scotty last week at threes.
No, no. Again, it's new course, bit of an unknown. I don't really have any course knowledge, course history to go on. So I think, if I'm honest, at the end of it, Scotty's not here this week. I think clearly why he's thought I ain't going to learn a new golf course when I've got to go the week after and play a major. Forget that. Rory's obviously potentially playing it because he didn't want to miss 2 weeks before. So no, I think I'm more look further afield. Somebody that's probably going to want to win this tournament, and it means more to them than the week after because they know they can't win the week after. So I'm avoiding the top few in the market.
So, are you going to tell us who you fancy then? You set it up well.
Yeah, so main pick is Jordan Spieth at
Wait,
25
one
to
sec.
1.
You just said he probably can't win next week. Like, do you know? Hep just said he's going for a Grand Slam next week.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite come back to that form, but I think he's had a good run. I don't think Jordan Spieth hits it far enough, to be honest, for a PGA. He's just not the type of. I just don't think it'll suit him. So, you know, he's 1, 2, 3. He's about eighth, roughly eighth in the market, 25 to 1. The guy's in form. I don't think he's won for a while. I think winning a signature event will be quite something for him. So he's my main pick. 25 to 1, 3.5 points each way.
That's Marv's first pick. Hep to stick that in your spreadsheet. Heppel, you've been a bit off form lately.
Yeah,
Can't remember who you put up last week.
nobody good. Yeah, I
Joe
saw a good
Winner.
podcast that did a bit of a breakdown of this course, and it does seem that it's going to be bomber friendly. It does seem that those with the longest driving carry can miss most of the dangers, and then the fairway actually gets wider. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rory won it all, given that he's probably the best driver in the field.
Oh,
But I'm not
probably.
going to go for him. I'm not going to go for my standard Ludwig either, and I'm going to miss most of the top. And my first pick is going to be Wyndham Clark at 50-1. That's for 5 places, so I'm going to take the 45-1 for 8 places, and I'm going to go 3 points each way on Clark. Not had a great season so far, but did show a bit of signs of life recently, but I can't exactly remember where. But yeah, long hitter who, and apparently they're growing out the rough as well, quite thick to get them ready for the PGA/US Open stuff. And we've seen Clark win was it the US Open at LA Country, or was it the PGA?
He won
Yeah,
this
sounds.
US Open 2 years ago, yeah.
But yeah, we've seen his power sort of play into it. So yeah, 3 points each way on Clark as my first pick.
I think this week's so difficult because I just think it seems like such a get up, but I've got no feel at the minute. Like I look at Hideki and then you realize Hideki's actual form the last few months is terrible.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a horrible tournament. The alternative event is a much friendlier betting event than.
like I mentioned Steven Yeager before in my head. Steven Yeager
What
hits
does the
like
magic pin say?
I can't even go with Yeager. Like he's 2 top 10s all year. I think he's a shit price. Um, like Eric Van Roy's fucking potent. Like even I
You
love
don't
Christine. I love
need
Christian
to
Bazzuda
go
now.
back to back.
Oh, but Marv, one of yours, Cam Young, 100-1. Like he hits it a mile.
Yeah,
I tell you, one who did hit it a long, long way is a guy called Garrick Higo, South African lad. He won twice on the DP World Tour before moving across. We'll stick a point each way on him at 140-1. He won the was it the Ponta Cana the same week as the
yeah,
Masters
yeah.
when Joel Damon threw away a 5-shot lead um, on the back 9. So he's probably flattered by that. But Higo hits it about 141 is too big, 10 places. And I just, yeah, we'll go with your man. We'll just stick a few pins in. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It worked last week.
Max Graderman, I think he's a young kid that plays really well. Um, Tom Dietrich finally got his first win on tour. Stick a point each way on both of them, 80s and 90s. And I think, I mean, if Xander is slowly getting fitter, surely he's too big at 12-1. Morikawa, I think, has got something a little bit in between his ears in terms of winning. If you look at the market leaders, McIlroy, Thomas, Aberg, they've all won and Henley, Hovland, Matsuyama, they've all won a signature event so far. I don't think Tommy Fleetwood will ever win on tour. I think it's like a weird curse.
Human to
Um,
me.
come on, Tommy, lad. So yeah, Xander. I mean, you forget Xander this time last year. Like he should have won the Players. He couldn't come to a bit of form, won 2 majors. And it was a type of it was him, Rory, and Scheffler. There's a big 3, and suddenly Xander's like 3 times the price of McIlroy. So yeah, 2 points each way on Xander at 12s, and then the 3 big pins. Um, oh no, that shit. I don't know who I've picked then.
Here you go.
Grazerman,
Here you go, Chris.
Grazerman, Dietrich, and there you go, Hep. Add them to the list.
It's noted down. Yeah.
Get that 365 account padded up. Marv, your other pick?
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Hep.
No, go Marv.
The second pick is slightly bigger price. He's a bit volatile. Is Akshay Bhatia. I think he's wild off the tee. He hits it a long way. Chancing it, to be honest. But he is 60-1. Like with Hep, I'll take the slightly lower price. But go with the 8 places with Ladbrokes. So 60-1, and it'll be 1.5 points each way.
My two long shots, I'm going to go Rasmus Højgaard at 75 to 1, 8 places for 1.5 each way. Ninth furthest off the tee this year. Played pretty well at Zurich with his brother. No idea how he did last week. And Twig mentioned the other one earlier, the Cam Young, 175 to 1, 8 places, 1 point each way on him. Had another one that's had a really bad year, but 175 1 seems quite big for a guy that can hit it far. And as I mentioned, that's sort of what I'm going after this week at the Philadelphia Cricket Club.
The Cricket Club, but nothing on the
Cricket.
nothing on Blackley Cricket Club. But I think the moral of the story is low stakes. Try and nick a bit of each way money and go punting properly next week at the US Open. Is that fair?
Which
Oh,
again,
PGA.
he's going for Bombers again.
Bombers for Mr. Hep. His camera's completely gone. Some may say it's an improvement based on
It's
the
not bad.
blurriness, and Hep's gone. Hey, just take the camera off, Hep. Just This
we
man is
mute him as well?
This man's supposed to be a high person in the insurance for I don't know. Anyway, Marv's going for a couple of pins.
Going
winning
back to
par.
back.
He's going for back to back. Who would you put, Marv? Who would you put against together and who? Spieth?
Spieth 25s, Batir at 60s. Both 8 places.
Clark for Hep and Sander for me, but low stakes. Try and nick a bit of each way money, and then back for some major, some D. I can't even make it to Dechambeau punt for all the marbles, all Dechambeau for next week's major. Bye bye.